All right, Coach Snapp and Coach Snapp. It's good to be talking with you guys. You guys came straight from practice here to have this interview with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, Sonny.
So what's proper etiquette, though? Because you're both Coach Snapp. So, like, what do they call you, Coach Ethan or Coach Snapp? Or how are we supposed to do this?
Coach Snapp, Ethan.
Just Ethan?
Easiest way to do it.
But you're coach.
I am a coach, yeah, but I don't feel disrespected or anything. I'm not offended by not being Coach Ethan or anything like that.
So how long have you been coaching now?
It's my 4th year. It's my 4th year coaching.
That's respectable. That should be Coach Ethan, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while. It just doesn't feel like it yet. I don't think it's fully set in all the way.
Coach Snapp, how long have you been coaching?
Well, let's see. I've been coaching for 27 years.
27 years?
14 in Newport, 4 as an assistant at Dixie, and a JV coach at Milan, Indiana for 10. So hopefully my math adds up.
I haven't done anything that long. That's amazing. Listen, for people listening, so people who are kind of watching or listening, the reason I invited you to come and talk is I think we got a pretty exciting season coming up. So for those listening, I'm Sonny Silverton. I'm a Newport parent and a proud dad of one of the Newport basketball players. And, I've been, as a project, kind of adding a lot of content to the Newport boys basketball Facebook support page. And I've been excited about that because other people in the community are able to follow along and learn more about us. So I thought we would take some time and talk about this season and share it for some of the people who are following along.
Sure.
So I've heard that this season could be a historic season at Newport, Coach. Now, what do you think of that?
So I'm not real big on the historical season because I feel like, each season's a new season. There's a lot of history in Newport. There's just, you go way back, and they've accomplished a lot of good things before we even started. So we look at it as another year, and then hopefully at the end of the year, we can say that we did some things that might be historical down the road, years to come.
That sounds very, very, very polite. Well, in your opinion, then, what would be an undeniably historic season? To call it historic now, what would have to happen?
So the one thing that Newport has not done for you to say historic would to win a state championship.
Okay.
Then I guess you could probably put us on that pedestal.
Do you think that can happen this year?
Of course. I definitely think with what we got coming back and how hard the kids have worked, and I think it takes. You definitely have to have the ammo, but it also takes some luck down the road. There's a lot to it. You got to have your kids got to stay healthy. They got to stick together, and but can we? Yes, we all believe that we can.
Tell me about last season. What was it like? How did it end?
Well, last season we ended up being our district champion and our region champion in Kentucky, and then we lost in the first round of the Sweet 16 state tournament at Rupp Arena. I would say that we had a really good season last year.
Did that exceed your expectations, or did that go beyond, or what?
It definitely exceeded expectations that we set before the season started. But as we started to progress through the season, I think we started to kind of talk amongst the coaches, and started to kind of realize that I think we might be a little bit further ahead than maybe we were expecting. Because before the season, we were just undeniably, we were young. We weren't super experienced yet. But the way the kids responded and the way they were, how much better they were getting so rapidly throughout the season, I think, we kind of circled back around to it about end of January, and I think we kind of realized, we may have a chance. So
that was last season. So you didn't have quite the expectations. You were pleasantly surprised. Now you're looking forward this year. A lot of buzz and talk out there. Some people are, talking Newport down. Some people are talking them up. But most people seem to have something to say. What are your expectations as far as this season? Obviously you want to win, but what do you expect is going to happen this year?
I think the expectation is for us to be in the mix when it comes to the All-A region, All-A state, then move on to district. the expectation is to, keep that in Newport and repeat as district champions, and do the same with the 9th region tournament and make it to Lexington. And once you get there, anything can happen. So as far as our expectations go, I think it's just we expect to be in the mix for anything we're competing in this year.
Coach Neff, last year you mentioned a lot. It's kind of a mantra: one game at a time, next game, next game. Do you have that same mentality this year? Are you looking the big picture?
I do. I mean, we focus on one game at a time, and of course we didn't go into that mindset the first game, and that kind of blew up in our face, and we lost to a tough, hard-nosed Brosser team on the road.
Oh, I remember that. That's
right. So, kind of piggybacking off what Ethan says, things that I think of with going into the season is, of course, game to game, but you also want to look at the big picture. I'd like to definitely win 80% of our home games, which we won all of our games last year at home. We were undefeated at home last year.
Was that historic?
I mean, I don't. That's very impressive.
We'd have to do a nasty deep dive to figure that out.
I'd love to know if that was something. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the same things that he says. But of course, I look at the schedule too. I was kind of excited when I saw. I was unsure, but also excited because I feel like we could play with a team that's 49-0. Richmond Heights out of Cleveland, Ohio. They're the number one team in the state of Ohio. So I know the kids and myself and the coaching staff is up for that challenge, and that's the second game of the year. Then the prestigious King of the Bluegrass event, which is really neat. It's been going on. It's one of the highest rated holiday tournaments around in Kentucky. It's been going on for a long time. We've been asked to play in that, so that'll be neat. Of course, you want to try to win that.
Another opportunity we got this year coming up, I'd be willing to put this on wax too, is first time ever Newport's played a nationally ranked prep school. We're playing Huntington Prep this year in the regular season. They have a couple 5-star recruits, probably a couple future NBA lottery picks. So as far as getting our guys battle tested and getting them experience, I honestly couldn't think of a better way to prepare them for the biggest matchups in the spotlight and those sorts of things. So that's a really cool opportunity for us. As far as expectations for that go, I'm not really sure what to expect.
I do tell the kids before we get rocking and rolling and we take the floor and games start to count. I tell them every year a Kentucky high school state champion, they're not going to be undefeated. How you gonna handle adversity when you do get beat? How are you gonna handle that? How are you gonna grow from that? How are you gonna improve from that? Because the really, really good teams, the elite teams, your top teams, you're gonna get beat because we all play. Kentucky high school basketball has the luxury of playing these holiday events, where a lot of these other states they only get like 22 games, where we get 30. And also at Newport, we have that small school state tournament in the middle of the year, so that's a little different and unique. Do we hang our hat on that? No, but it is a neat event.
How big? I guess I don't know much about basketball in general. I only started following basketball because my son liked playing. But I hear about these divisions. Like in Ohio, they have different divisions of high school basketball. Does Kentucky have different divisions?
So I think, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Kentucky's one of 2 states left in the country that doesn't have class basketball.
Okay. So if you win like the state championship,
so there's one
you won
state
the
champion,
state.
yeah.
There's not 3 state champions or 4.
There's one state champion, yeah. But Kentucky does do the All-A Classic, which is for single A class schools in the state of Kentucky.
So I don't know what that means. What is a single A class school?
It's I'm not even sure what the exact number is, but it's for small schools in Kentucky.
Like 450 students, 9 through 12.
Yeah.
How many
smaller?
How many students does Newport have?
Probably 390, 9 through 12.
Well, no, 7 through 12 we're probably 390. We're probably 9 through 12 we're probably smaller than that.
Yeah.
Really?
We're small.
Wait,
Yeah.
so like 300 students and you're playing, how big are these schools?
Wow.
Well, not in the All A, but
No,
like
well,
when we get in the season, regional tournament, and we're playing schools of 1,500 students.
Really?
So we're playing, yeah.
But somehow it doesn't feel like David and Goliath because you guys can hold your own, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we feel like that.
Yeah, we hope so at least.
Well, that's exciting. All right, just change topics real quick. So father and son team,
Yeah.
right? So obviously you played under your dad for 4 years.
Yeah.
Then you went and you played college for 4 years, and now you're back and you're coaching with it. What is that like as father and son, this dynamic duo? Does that ever cause like tension in your relationship? Do you guys ever, like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, I will say I think I really enjoyed playing for him for 4 years. I enjoy coaching with him, but playing with him is difficult at times. I feel like that's where we butt heads the most, playing together. But yeah, as far as coaching together, it's been good. And we're both crazy obsessed with winning, and it being Newport being my alma mater, coming back and seeing the success that we've had since I've been back, with him still being the head coach has been really cool, and I'm just. It's also really neat that I've been able to be a part of it. So, it's just really unique. And obviously it's something that we'll talk about forever. So that's really cool.
Do you know what he's thinking before, or like what he's going to do?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're on the same page that way for sure a lot of times. So
he always said when he was playing that he was always, his last few years, he wanted to come back and coach. So I thought that'd be really neat. Definitely, motivated me to continue to go and keep going. And, hopefully, knock on wood, stay healthy, stay strong, mentally strong, and just have that drive. So, but it's been a big help because he relates to the kids. Kids like him. He can tell them his experiences, not only in high school, but his college experiences, the kids that want to play in college. So,
that's right.
They get to hear that experience of, when you go play in college, it isn't just, bubbly and fun and all that. It's a commitment. It's very challenging. It's something that you really, really want to do if you're going to do that. So, and like him with Ethan, he went to college and he was a sponge. He picked up a lot, so it's been helpful with that. He really listened to his coaches, and when I went to college and played, I just played and just showed up and whatever, So that's been a plus for sure.
Have you incorporated some of what you learned
absolutely.
in college into the high school team?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean, I was really fortunate to play for some really good coaches in college and some very extremely knowledgeable guys. So, when I decided that I wanted to come back, obviously, given that everything would work out fine and he would be okay with it, that was my goal from the beginning, was to try and use what I've learned playing. And kind of instill that into the program. Just because I know, like, when I played, I maybe didn't have, someone like myself who had experienced what I had in my ear all the time. And I just thought how much I would have benefited from that. And so I just really thought it would be super valuable and very important to kind of pass that knowledge on to these young guys who ultimately wanted the same thing that I wanted when I was their age. They want to win. They want Newport to win. They want to go to college and play basketball. And they want to go to the NBA and then whatever else, But that was me. I grew up completely obsessed with the game and still am to this day, probably more than I ever have been. And, the kids that I'm able to coach now are the same way. So I feel like, my job is to try and give them as much knowledge and as much help as possible.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to turn back to the season and kind of the personnel you guys have. So who are the other coaches? Just real quick, who are their names?
So we got Coach Andrew Merrill,
okay, and
he played for me. He's our JV coach.
Okay.
And then we have Coach Elliott Pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Coach Phil McDaniel. And then we have Coach Cam and his dad coached for several years in Ohio, all over the place. He's actually running the Ohio Valley Hoops.
Hoops Classic.
Hoops Classic. That's at Mason, Ohio. It's a really neat event, and that's his dad runs that. So Cam Carroll rounds off our last coach, and these guys, I'm telling you, I love these guys. They're fantastic with our kids. I mean, not only, here's the thing, like everybody talks about just coaching and that, but when a guy takes a kid out to the mall or a kid, needs a ride or needs to go somewhere, Coach Phil takes him to games. Coach Cam's takes a kid out for his birthday, or Coach Pipes, he's teaching in the building. These guys are nonstop, and I know, Coach Ethan as well. I call him Coach Ethan. So, and like he said, he teaches them about a lot of different things, and they ask a lot of questions about the approach of after high school, if you're going to go play in college, all that. So I think the staff is it's really, really good. Everybody brings something different to the table. Coach Merrill works in the school as well. Really good, relates to the kids. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on about the coaches. I just feel like it's right now, it's been a perfect fit foundation of, we all want the same thing. My circle of trust in the basketball world is not really big anyway. I credit these guys and a few others outside of it. Coach Cam at Make It Rain and Coach Mitch, and there's a few others that we can bend their ears, and then they can help us with some things. We talk about things. I definitely myself personally don't go in thinking I know everything. I like to hear things. We may argue about some things. Everybody has their own philosophy. Just like Coach Carroll came in yesterday, and he's got a strong philosophy, and he really knows the game and been around for a long, long time. He's, of course, and he always has great advice, but I'm like, well, I don't know, and this and that. But that's good to have people like that, that are you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I mean, it is what it is. We're in the gym with these kids every single day, nonstop, and we just try to put the best product for these kids and for what we do, and to be successful. And at the end of the day, we want to win. We want to win.
Yeah, I just want to, as a parent, seeing the commitment that the coaches have to the kids. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything like that anywhere in my school growing up or any other schools. Like, these guys really care. They come early in the morning. They stay late in the evening. Like you said, they're like involved in the kids' lives. Mm-hmm. They go far above and beyond basketball. And that's been one of the most impressive things to me about the program, just all the surrounding wraparound care that goes along with these players. So I know there's a lot that goes into more than just winning, but
sure.
seeing how they treat the kids and truly care for them, and it's genuine.
Well,
they're not mercenaries. Like, these guys love these kids.
Right.
It's about them.
Yeah.
It's about them. And I'm not too far removed from being in their situation. So, like, I just would think back to when I was their age, how important and how much it would have benefited me having guys like, us in their lives, and like, just thinking about how can we make things easier on them? How can we make their lives better? And those sorts of things. And I just think they need positive voices in their ears, and just positivity at all times. Teenagers are emotional and they're confused, yeah. And there's all sorts of things. So we just try to use our experiences and our knowledge and try to share it with them as much as possible.
Be successful after high school basketball. You want to be successful.
Yeah.
High school basketball is going to end. Now what are you going to do? So we try to teach those traits and those daily, times and challenges and different situations, so that'll carry over into whatever you're going to do out here in the real world, or with work, college, or whatever. I felt like that kind of started with back in 2016 with Keaton Davis, which is now a nurse, and Ethan both graduated, and then boom, it was like a trickling effect. This is what take advantage of your athletic ability and your sport, and go to school hopefully for free and get you a free education.
How many kids do you have coming out of your program going to college?
So, like the other day, I got to sit around and watch. It was just kind of neat. It's a great question. I mean, I've had these two go, and they graduated. And now you watch these other guys, and, they're playing, and, they got scholarships. And we've got Donnie Millers at Midway. He's doing really well. He starts. He played against Murray State last night. It's not like I even reach out. He probably don't even know I watched. I mean, but, we know he's out there and he's doing well. When we got Mikkel Berry's at Lincoln Memorial, one of the top programs in the country. He's doing great. Starts. I think he had 20 the other night and won.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, Taj Harding. Mm-hmm. Taj, he's had an awesome summer. And, You know, it was really, really awesome to beat him in one of the summer leagues this summer in his summer run. But no, he was a monster this summer, and he's been scoring, I think, 18 or 20 points in his last few games.
Yeah, his first 2 games he's played well.
Played well. He starts, and then we have Mekhi McGuire. He's at Lee University in Tennessee, and he's come off a knee surgery.
Yeah,
But he's playing, and you know he's done well. He's had a good career.
So Newport's a good launching point if you want to.
I mean, that's what we. That's what.
Yeah, you guys
the thing is, it kind of started clicking. I was there my 3rd year, and I knew about. My wife is from Covington, and she went to Covington Homes, so I knew a lot about the Covington Homes era, like all the players there. There's so much talent and so many players, and just the history at Homes. And I'm like, man, you know, I saw kids come out of there that were really, really good. I'm like, man, they should be playing in college. Didn't go. In Newport, I get Newport. Saw some of the kids that I even had. I'm like, you want to play in college? They didn't really want to, but I'm like, well, you know, maybe we need to, you know, turn the corner on that. You know,
sounds like you're doing that. And that's,
well,
as a parent, I'm thrilled about that.
But again, too, that is the people that I trust. It's about the foundation of others of helping, and nothing against the coaches I've had, because I've got Nick Dornings. He coached with me. He's out at Ryle doing a good job, and James Hollins, the head coach at Taylor in Ohio, and he's doing a good job. And you know, and I tell these guys, I hope that's something you might want to do down the road, is be a head coach. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then you know, great. You know, I like keeping them around as long as possible, for sure.
At some point in a future conversation, I want to talk to you more about like that philosophy, basketball philosophy. But I want to talk more. I'm going to try to limit the scope of this conversation to this season. So let me move forward. I have this picture of you, Ethan. You know, it looks like you were just playing college ball like 5 minutes ago, and here you are.
Fun year.
4 years as a coach. That's crazy.
It was a fun year.
All right, I want to go through some of the personalities,
Sure.
or some of the players that you have this season. I'm starting with number 0. I'm just kind of going in order of their numbers. My number 0, Taylen Kinney. I've watched Tay play since like 5th grade. I saw him playing at Southgate Elementary School, and I saw him. It was like something I was astonished at this little kid. He didn't look athletic or anything, but he was just like handling the ball like no one had ever seen before.
Right.
Scoring and shooting. I was like, wow, this kid's going to go somewhere, I bet.
Yeah, back then he was probably still a little chunky.
He was a little chunky, a little short. Good kid. I mean, big smile on his face, kind, you know, treats everyone well. And but just to watch him like mature and to become what he's become, he's pretty exciting. He's fun to watch. Tell me,
I'll tell you what, it helps, and a lot of people could vouch for this. Is he's just he's a good kid. He's a really good kid.
Yeah.
That helps, and that helps his the way he carries himself, and he's friendly to everybody. He goes out his way, shake your hand. He doesn't, you know, walk around think he's bigger and better than everybody. It's just the way he is.
he's sort of respectful.
Sure.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
What are you expecting out of Tay this year?
I mean, Tay has a lot of expectations. You know, he does a great job handling all the attention and the whatever's thrown his way. I think for us, you know, he understands that we kind of need him to be a leader on and off the court, an emotional leader more than anything. He's well beyond his years emotionally. You know, his basketball mind is special. He's sickly competitive. He works nonstop.
What does sickly competitive mean?
I think Taylen would rather lose a limb than lose a basketball game. I think that's why there's mutual respect between him and our coaching staff, because we're all the same way.
If you played a 3 in practice, he wants to win.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care who's playing with him. He wants to win, and he takes it personally.
And that attitude, the last 2-3 years, has massively rubbed off on his teammates too.
He makes the guys around him better?
Well, yeah, for sure, yeah. And we have a couple guys that do that, and that's what makes him a special group for sure. He's unselfish when he has, you know, a lot of these guys have every right in the world to be selfish. They're very talented. They're good players. They could, you know, get a lot of points, a lot of stats on any given night, but they value winning and they put it above everything else. And you know, it all trickles down from from the top. We had a senior last year, Marquez Miller, who had an awesome senior year, and he was the same way. You know, he learned a lot from these young guys, and that's just kind of the environment that they've all created.
We did a photo shoot over at Holmes on Sunday, and it was funny because I was thinking kind of what he might be thinking. We kind of, just like with Ethan, I mean, it's crazy to say because you're talking about a sophomore in high school, and they put their uniforms on, and they were red, and one of them had a white T-shirt underneath his uniform, the other one had a black one on there, and he was going around and saying, "You can't do that during the season. You can't. It's got to match." And that's the first thing I was thinking.
Yeah. And
I thought that was pretty cool that he had even just little things like he does little things that you definitely can't teach kids. And with his work ethic and how bad he wants it, I mean, it's been showing in practice. And let's just, hopefully he just, stays healthy, stays locked in, and I mean, his ceiling's super high.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he does this year. It's going to be fun. DaShawn Anderson, a.k.a. Beans. Beans, I've been impressed with his game.
I always tell people, like, if Beans walked into this room right now in street clothes, in whatever he wears at school, he just looks like a ball player.
He's
just naturally he's athletic, he's long, he's tall, he just looks the part for sure.
And real quick too, today in practice, we're doing a drill, and it was a fast break, half court, like FIBA rule drill. We like it. They go hard, they compete, and James Turner kind of got stuck under the hoop, and James, of course, one of the best shot blockers in the state. Turns around, he was going to go up, and Beans just he tries to go up and just dunk on him, which probably would have been one of the better dunks we've seen in that gym. Probably the best one I would have seen, but he missed it. Turner got in the way, said, "You ain't going to get, not here." But just that, the things that he does sometimes, you're kind of caught off guard. And
surprising is the word that I'd use for Beans. Mm-hmm. He's surprising. Like, out of nowhere, he'll come out with this monster dunker. He'll make a shot.
Super gifted athlete, for sure.
My thing on him is he just needs to stay focused and stay driven in a positive direction, and he started last year. I mean, he started last year, and we always called upon Beans to guard a guy that could get buckets, or he was a great shooter. You're going to face guard, and every assignment, he was up for the challenge for sure.
Yeah, he took a lot of pride in that last year for sure. Yeah. That was cool to see that he took that role so seriously, because there's not a lot of sophomores in high school that would enjoy that role. If you'd have told me when I was a sophomore in high school I got to face guard somebody, I'd be like, no way.
He's doing it right now in the picture.
Yeah. He was definitely a massive part of last year's run.
Surprising, athletic, and fearless.
It's a fearless kid.
Beans is fearless. So I'm rooting for him. Rooting for him this season. I hope he stays engaged and locked in, because I want to see him thrive.
Yeah.
Jabari Covington.
156 pounds is generous. I'm thinking maybe a little bit south of that.
Jabari is a really, really neat kid. He's a super cool kid. I really like the kid. He's got, I could be wrong, but he has to be one of the best ball handlers in the state of Kentucky. It's on a string. It's all over the place. He does some things. You're like, man, he just do that. He played in that summer league that everybody plays in out in Independence. I think he averaged like 30.
Yeah, like 30 and 10 or something.
With some really good players.
Yeah.
Some really good players. And he played really well. He had a really, really good summer.
He's been great in practice.
He's been shooting well, and I'm excited to see what he does this year. He's been a sponge in practice. He's really trying to work on things, and
What's a good wily? I would say he's wily. Does that seem like a good word?
Wiry or wily?
Wily, like Wily.
Yeah, like Wile E. Coyote, right?
He's so unpredictable. I mean,
he is.
As a player, I think before he came over, I kind of had a different idea of his game than the way his game actually is. So once we got a hold of him, and we started watching him in practice. It was definitely a learning curve for him at first. But once he reeled it in and he really kind of understood, the way we do things, he was massive for last season. And I think he's going to have a great year this year. He had a really good summer. He's definitely gotten a lot better. And he's a good kid. He does the right things, and he works hard. So
his ceiling's high for a college. I think a college gets a hold of him, they're going to get a steal.
Yeah,
he's going to get better.
His best years are ahead of him for sure.
Totally. All right. The one we know the least about, DeShaun Jackson.
Well, it won't take long to know quite a bit about him.
Tell me about DJ. What?
Well, Ethan had him in AAU, and he can definitely tell you a lot about him. But I had him this summer, and he transferred over here from Taft in April. Wasn't real. We've seen him play and played against him in the summer and that, and then we get a hold of him, and the one thing about him is he is a good kid. He's a great kid. He's a really neat kid. He's soft spoken, just kind of a quiet kid. The crazy thing is, I'm glad we get to talk about this. Is he was 0 for 2 from 3-point line last year. He did not make a three last year as a junior. Not one, as a guard. Now this summer, he probably shot close to 35, 40%. He shot really well. He's shooting well in practice. And, we want him to do that. For Newport, he had an awesome summer. And I think he's just a straight dog. He got an offer in Collins playing, the 1 through the 5, guarding. I mean, he gets to the paint about as well as anybody that I've seen. He got an offer from U-Pike. And I let Ethan kind of tell you what he's seen as well, coaching AAU.
So I had him in AAU this summer for like the first half of AAU. I'm not sure how. I'm still trying to get back into AAU. It's so much different now, but we played in the showcase, and we played Team Thad, EYBL Team Thad out of Tennessee. And their starting 5, they're all high major kids. Their backcourt were committed to Auburn and Auburn and Missouri or something like that. Really supposed to be really, really, really good players, and they were. But at halftime we were up 3, and I think DJ had 20 points in the first half, and I just remember thinking, for not being surprised, but it kind of really opened my eyes, and I was all in from there because I was like, this kid he's a gamer. So when the lights are turned on and it's time to lace him up, I would feel really comfortable going anywhere, anytime with him at the helm for sure. So I think he's quiet. He's a silent killer.
Silent killer.
Yeah, silent killer.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see the second game of the year because I think he's gonna bring it.
He's definitely got that junkyard dog in him for sure. Mm-hmm. He's a gamer.
Another college steal for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Turner.
Nice.
Know a lot about Turner.
Beautiful picture.
Yeah. Credit where credit's due, right there.
Yeah.
Credit down there.
Yeah.
So James Turner, another really good kid, respectful.
Yeah.
Like James a lot. Tell me about those who don't know James. Tell us about James.
The first thing we always talk about with James, it has nothing to do with. We just can't help but talk about last year as a freshman in high school. He had 50 dunks and 88 blocks in one season.
50 dunks.
50 dunks. I remember a dunk he did, and I got it.
That was in 8th grade.
Oh yeah, the 8th grade dunk.
That was in 8th grade.
Yeah, his head was on one side of the glass, and his arm was on the other, and he dunked it.
Yeah,
that was amazing. I never seen that before.
Yeah, but other than basketball, obviously James is a great basketball. He's an awesome kid. Mm-hmm. He works hard. Works hard in the classroom. He's been doing well this year. So
these guys work really hard.
Yeah,
it's a leadership program in the school. There's 5 kids. He went to the Munoz event last week. He said he really enjoyed it, and he's come a really long way since we got him. Mm-hmm. Going in, not even an 8th grader yet. We got him the summer before his 8th grade year, so he was still really young. Just to be a part of that and see how much he's grown since he showed up in Newport has been awesome to watch.
I watched him this summer. So you guys took your kids to Make It Rain over the summer, right? Mm-hmm. And they were there working out and getting stronger and bigger and faster and all those things there. But I saw him be super competitive. Like, he kind of blossomed this summer. I wonder what's going to happen this year. He's got a lot more aggressive. Is that
right?
true?
Yes, and he's gained about 12 to 14 pounds of muscle.
And Make It Rain, doing all that.
Make It Rain, doing the training with Coach Krim and, of course, Coach Mitch, gets him in there on the skill side with the drills. But with the weights, I think he's starting to see the results. He feels the results. And we definitely can see it as well, him on the court, more confident. His around the rim explosiveness is insane. I mean, I know the AD and they ordered a new backboard, and because our old backboard is up there, and we've had the backboard on the other end's been shattered twice, so which was a crazy experience because I've never seen it before, and they were talking about shattering a backboard, and I've seen it happen. So I said James Turner has a chance to with our old backboard, he has a chance to shatter it. The power that he's bringing now when he dunks the ball, it's just on another level.
It's not usual in high school. That's
no.
All right, this is my favorite player.
That's good.
Bad kid.
How dare you?
Love the hair. I wish I had it.
Nah, honestly, I think Noah's finally coming to his own a little bit. We've always talked about how if he had any issue or whatever on the court, it was always his confidence, mental. But he's made tremendous strides in the last couple weeks. The way he's shooting the ball right now could be massive for us this season. Because our three guards will get a lot of attention, so he'll get a lot of open shots, and he's starting to shoot a lot of shots that he wouldn't have shot last year. He'd have passed it up or caught it and passed it really quick or whatever. But the last couple of practices we've had, he's really he's coming on for sure.
He looks super comfortable. He's playing with the swag. He's got his hands up. He catches and shoots without even thinking. He's just a natural reaction, and he's a tough kid. He's easy to coach. I mean, we are all excited about to see what happens. With Noah, we know he is a gym rat. He's in the gym nonstop. He's played AU. I mean, something's got to go well for him this year. It's got to be, we've even talked. We even post him up because he's a good free throw shooter. He's tough around the rim. Expectations are very high for him.
Yeah.
Can you get him to clean his room? I'm just kidding.
No way.
All right, next player. Griffin Starks.
Griffin?
I don't know if I want to say a lot.
Griffin's a neat kid. He's it's still, you still have to remind yourself how young he is. He's only a freshman. So and he's fresh in his freshman year. So he's definitely he's been growing on us in practice.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
You put him in the weight room this summer as well, right?
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4 Griffins today in practice. What I mean by that is he was everywhere. I mean, he dove on the floor. He gets deflections. He gets offensive rebound putbacks. He does a lot of stuff you just can't teach. I mean, he's a lefty.
Yeah, he has a crazy ceiling.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we definitely don't tell him all that. And he knows. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people have been in here and told him. And he, of course, he's got to continue to work. He's got to work. I mean, there's a lot of other kids out there around the country that are, working and they know about him and his class, and they want to push him aside, or they want to be better than him. And I know these kids get hung up in rankings and all that, but he's got to gain weight.
But isn't it great to have him there with James? Those two, giants hitting each other, and you got Noah and DJ.
Well, we've actually talked. I've brought that up like the past couple of years. Like in practice, like James was always having to go against Quez. All the time in practice, and it's been huge for James. Now the roles have reversed, and Griffin has to go up against James every day in practice, but.
Don't envy that.
Well, they're pushing each other though.
Yeah. So
it's been great for both of them, and to see them compete, and the way he's been responding. He's a neat kid. We still have our freshman episodes with him. He's still he's still young. So
you could see they're rubbing off on each other. Where James is now trying to implement some guard skills off the top of the key and make some moves because Griffin can do that. But then Griffin's also trying to be tougher inside, more physical, and he wants to box you out. And so they are definitely rubbing off on each other. And eventually, someday or whatever, they can, be on the court together and cause some issues, cause a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
Played AAU with Griffin.
Yeah.
Amontae Lowe played AAU on his team.
If you're
another fearless guy, right?
For sure. If you're a basketball coach, like if you're like a blue collar, like just like stereotypical basketball coach, like you want all your guys to play like Amontae Lowe. Just like you said, fearless, hard nosed, dive on the floor, he'll hit guys, like just. He's got the junkyard dog in him for sure.
Really good football player, good athlete.
Yeah.
And the only thing he has going against him is he's got 3 really, really good guards ahead of him.
Yeah.
But he's tough as nails.
Yeah, it's crazy to think he's only a freshman. He had a really good summer for us. He's gotten a lot better. Had a massive summer in AAU, playing on the UIBL circuit. I'm not sure it was UIBL because they were in middle school. Whatever. It was a really good circuit, whatever they were playing on. He played really well for that team. So, it's just things are going really well for him right now. He's a great kid. He works hard. And expectations will be high from this year. And he's going to have to – he's probably going to have a different role than he had last year. But I think with his mentality and, like you said, his fearlessness, he'll be fine.
Oh, he looks completely different.
That's old. I found this most recent picture I could find. Keegan.
First thing I thought it was Van Halen. Well, we got old Keegan. So Keegan's playing football and he's having a great season. And I was kind of caught off guard because somebody said, "Well, he might just work out for football and not play." I'm like, "Wow." So I had asked him, and he may have mentioned that. And he says, "No, I'm playing." I'm like, he had an awesome summer. I mean,
yeah, he was tough. He was getting rebounds.
Just real quick, we had, he started against Moeller this summer, which is a really strong team, and he did well. And we beat him. I mean, because we had a few guys out, and he played really, really well. He just, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's a big kid. He's really, really good around the basket. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've told him that. I've told others that.
He had a great summer, and I was fortunate enough to be around him in AAU. When he played for Moss Elite, their 15U team won the Kentucky State tournament, state champions, and he had a big role. He played really well. So with him, it'll just be repetition with him, and just getting in the gym and having a ball in his hands because he does play football, so he hasn't been really in the gym too much, but. What he's going to go against him in practice all year with James and Griffin and him, those 3 kind of rotating around and guarding each other and competing against each other on a daily basis, he'll only get better.
What a gift for all of them to have people to compete against. It's no fun if you're...
I mean, you're going to find out who's tough-minded, who's going to fight for minutes, who's going to fight for for a spot.
Right.
It's just the way it is. I mean, it's the way it's going to be, and that's what's great about a smaller school and high school to make that happen is I think it's great. I mean, they got a battle. All 3 of them got the battle.
From what I've experienced, competing in practice, being ultra competitive is kind of where you earn a coach's trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of has that has a little bit to do with it. Obviously, it's our decision to decide who's in the game, late in the game, and who we can trust in certain situations. And if you don't show us that you care in practice, or that you want to win in practice, or that you're really trying to get better, then I don't. We have other guys that are willing and able to do those things, so we trust them and we put them in those situations.
Cool. Sniper here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lee, quarterback of the football team.
He hits those threes.
Having a great football season too.
Yeah.
Is he? How's he doing in football?
Well, they finished the regular season 7-3. They're going to be in the second round of the playoffs this Friday at Ludlow. So
Whoa.
yeah, and he's the quarterback. He calls the shots. He runs the show. He's having a great year.
They beat Ludlow. They're in the Final 8.
Final 8, yeah, state.
They got a shot. I mean, I feel like they can. They've already beat Ludlow once. I mean, they got to go there and do it again. But he brings a lot of great qualities. I mean, he really does.
He's steady.
And he's tough in practice. He's hard-nosed.
Yeah.
And we tell these guys, too. I mean, he definitely helps us get better and get us prepared. And, then if he gets if something works out and he gets a shot, he'll go in there and he'll compete. I mean, he'll he's always he gets in the way. He's scrappy. He's a fearless kid. I tell you the other thing about Kyle Lee is he's at every game. I don't know how he may go to 2 games in a night. He goes to every game. So I was hoping with his football success that he would say, "Well, I'm not going to play, so I'm definitely playing." I was like, that was great to hear, and he'll start off on JV unless he comes into practice and just does just wow. It has that wow factor, but again, you never know, but. And then once he gets his basketball legs together and gets back into it, and he's
great to have around. He's composed. He's mature. He's level-headed. He's definitely he's a big part of what we do, and whenever he's not around, it's kind of like we haven't had him in practice recently because he did football. It kind of stinks because, there's just you're just missing that level head, that a guy who always knows what's going on, who can tell guys where to go and what to do. So that's really nice to have, and that's why we like having him around.
Some cool stories about Kyle that we went to Trimble County, and I think he went like 0 for 18 from the three-point line. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. So we joke around. He can handle it. And then we come back, and he has 2 back-to-back. We played a freshman. No, we played 2 JV games.
2 JV games.
2 JV
one
games.
Day, yeah,
And he had 30 in both games, didn't he?
Yeah, he had like 7 threes in both games, yeah.
And he was
the same day.
Yeah, so he's the kind of kid that's pretty tough-minded. That's why he's being so successful in football and level-headed. And he's tough, and he stays on guys.
My memory of him is him coming off the bench cold and just hitting a 3.
Yeah.
My first memory of Kyle was when he was like 3 years old and he came to basketball camp when I was like a sophomore in high school. We still have a clip of that.
We do.
Yeah, he was funny.
I'll have to send that to you.
Last and certainly not least.
Oh, he shrank.
125 pounds. I think I think he surpassed that a bit. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
There's a summer story with Irv in one of the games. Tell me about the story.
Unbelievable summer story.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you real quick because I really like the coach at Augusta. He's a good guy, and he goes, "Hey, do not beat me by 50." I said, "I never do that." I said, "We're going to play." Well, who knows what's going to happen? You can't even say that. You're going to play. You guys are going to play hard. You do. He does a really good job with his guys. He had a son that's good that plays. He'll be a senior, and so we're out of Walton playing their tournament. And we're playing really well, and the kids are hitting shots, they're getting fast breaks, they get a couple dunks, and and whatnot. So we put the guys that don't play as much in, and we throw Irv in there, and Irv, it was right away he gets a dunk.
Yeah,
he gets a one-handed, a slam. He slams it. It was not your pull the rim down. He dunks it. He then goes on and hits 7 threes?
Yeah, he had like 6 or 7 threes. He finished with 28 points in the varsity game.
And we killed him. And coach was like, if you're not gonna use him, sit him down here.
Yeah,
so
and the bench went wild, right?
I saw the everybody
video.
did from other schools.
Yeah. That just shows what type of kid he is too.
Yep.
Like everybody wants to see him do well. And what's awesome about Irvan is 2 years ago in 8th grade, he couldn't get off the bench for his 8th grade team. I mean, and now, this year he'll start JV. He'll be, I think, a real handful in JV. He has a chance to be. He does a lot of good stuff. Like in practice today, he's doing a lot of good stuff. He's got to dribble a little bit less. I'm sick of watching him dribble all over the gym, but I mean, he brings a lot of energy, a lot of toughness. He's fearless. He's scrappy. He's athletic, sneaky athletic. I mean, he's
kind of a fearless kid. He'll scrap and try to grab James and whoever. And
he's come a really long way.
Oh man,
he works nonstop.
If he stays engaged and locked in and focused, the next few years he could help.
Yeah,
he could help us.
I feel like he could help this year. He could
I hope
sneak
he can.
I
hope so.
I think he could sneak some points in.
I mean,
He
he's going to score. I mean, he gets in the game. He's an automatic bucket.
Well,
Every
yeah,
game
last
he's
year
playing against James and Tay, and and he scores.
Last year on varsity, I think he shot 86%. Yeah,
he also knows. He also knows his friends, like his circle, hanging around with James and Tay. You're going to be in the gym, probably every day. Yeah. If you want to hang out with him, you're going to be in the gym, and that's what he's done. I mean, that's what he's done.
He's another one of those make it rain guys. You see, they go there.
Absolutely, he's a make it rain,
and he's
every
there
day,
fighting and competing
nonstop,
right there. Yeah,
absolutely. It's been great for him.
We're going to wrap up pretty soon. I want to talk about the
Yeah.
schedule. So, just as we go forward, so all summer long, you had the guys working out really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that something that normal basketball teams do over the summer? Do they work out together?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, we've always.
They all play separate, but they work out.
Yeah, yeah, and with having the make it rain, and you know, and as helpful as they've been, and you know, going down there, and you know, the guys with Krim and Coach Mitch, and helping our kids out. Again, I'm going to that trust factor with guys that I really trust, and I think they're really good with our kids, and they work hard, and you know, of course, thank Brett for letting us come down there and taking care of us and feeling comfortable, and you know, that's been a big help. We've not had anything like that with, you know, where we just had to work out at our gym. But with the facility being in Newport, it's been huge. I mean, you know. And
I've had some frustration with Newport School. Like, you guys not being able to use your gym because the volleyball net is up.
Yeah.
That was really frustrating to me, like, as a parent. Because I asked some other coaches from other schools around, hey, do you guys take your volleyball net down so your basketball players can play? All of them said yes. You know, and so I know Newport might be strapped for cash, but like, if we could raise some money and get another volleyball net, or not have to do that, because to me, like, look, as a taxpayer,
like a great idea.
You know, as a taxpayer, knowing that we're heating and cooling that giant building, we can't use it because we can't take a volleyball net down.
Right.
I think you guys should rethink that policy, and if I could help and like donate a net or something, like, let me know.
Okay.
And we can do that, because it seems crazy to me that the guys can't use the full court.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys can go to Make It Rain and do that, but
yeah.
Hopefully we can get that taken care of this year. All right, future Newport schedule.
Sure. Do they match up? Do these match up?
Maybe. I don't
We've
know.
combed through them.
I was gonna say I created this one on the left, and I messed it up like 5 times.
It's all right. It
so
looks good.
I hope that's correct.
This one's correct.
Okay.
It's correct.
Let's hope this is the latest one I got from you, if it's correct.
Well,
so
Ethan, you can chime in whatever on the schedule. We've had the luxury and been lucky, and I feel blessed that we've been asked to play in so many different events and scrimmages, and so I was very selective. And I want it to be ultra competitive and ultra challenging with these kids. With what we have
this season, where I can see like Kingo Bluegrass. Newport's never played in Kingo Bluegrass ever.
No.
Dayton Flying to the Hoops, Middletown, January 4th. Newport's never played in Dayton Flying to the Hoops ever. Where is it? The day where we played 2 games in one day. I didn't put the event name on there, but it's an event at Lawrenceburg High School in Indiana.
First year for it.
Loaded event.
Yeah,
Couple defending Indiana state champions, state runner-ups. A school from Alabama, I think, that's going to be really competitive this year. Big school from Alabama. And then obviously, you know, some of our 9th region opponents that we have to that we're going to play against, you know, Cupcath and Cooper and Lloyd, District Opponent Highlands and Newcath, and you know, as far as if you want as competitive a schedule as you can possibly get, I don't know what other this is as good as it gets, really.
These other teams in our region, they're going to bring it. It's not like, you know, everybody's like, well, you'll be, you know, you're the number 1 ranked team, whatever. We don't get hung up on that. We were ranked, you know, last year. We were ranked 7th or 8th or whatever. I mean,
we were
really
lower
harp
than
on
that
it
to start the year last year. We weren't even top 10.
These other teams, they're going to bring it. I already know. These coaches they do a good job. They're going to watch our games. They're going to have game plans, you know, and it's just what it is. I mean, you know, our district games are always, you just never know. You never know. And Cooper's always is always tough. They're always, you know, make it a very challenging game for us. And, you know, Cupcath's been kind of a powerhouse in our area for a while. So I like our scrimmages. Callaway County is a top 20 team. We'll play them Saturday. They'll be a top 20 team in the state. They got 2 really, really good players. Both are scholarship kids. Then, of course, the Winton Woods game. That'll be kind of cool. I mean, they have Tyler McKinley. He was a player of the year at a prep school. He went to Link Academy.
National champion last year. Yeah.
So he's at Winton Woods. They're a big school. They're the D1 in Ohio. We'll play them over at Holmes. That'll be neat. Then we kick it off with a district opponent with Dayton at home, first game, which leads us right into Richmond Heights, which, that'll be a neat game.
Yeah,
I mean,
defending back-to-back.
4 or 5 D1 kids. They
defending
got a 5-star,
state champions.
5-star sophomore moving that James and Tay played AU with.
I notice every year more and more seats are getting filled at Newport.
I hope so.
You think there'll be a lot of people at the games this year?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't ever get hung up in that. I mean, that's awesome to just like after the regional finals. I've been lucky playing high school in Indiana and then coaching at Milan, Indiana, that I was around some really cool atmosphere, some, the movie Hoosiers. We played in Knightstown Gym. It was full. And just had that. Been lucky, to be honest. Just been there, and so the crowd at Northern it's cool. But once the game gets going, I mean, it's about us and the opponent and what's going on that court, and let's get the job done. Yeah. And then afterwards, you're like, man, there was what? 7,
I think it's like a record crowd at the regional championship last year.
And then you watch it, but when a game gets. Me personally, I just try to stay so locked in and engaged that, if a bear ran in there, I'd be in trouble.
All right, I think we're almost out of time here. We're just about out of time. I got to list a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys. I'm not going to be able to get to them, obviously. I want to ask you about community involvement in Newport, about ways people can get involved, parents, but I won't have time for that today, so maybe we can do this again another time, guys?
Sure, yeah, for sure. And the big shout out that I want to give out, one of the most important people in the whole program, Sonny Silverton, with everything he does. He brings, it is nonstop.
Yeah,
it's and I hear about it all the time. Everywhere I go, almost every day, about the YouTube and he doing this, and then, with him recording our games and putting it on there, and with the high def, it looks fantastic. And just, I can go on and on.
It's overwhelming in a great way.
Yeah, it's
in a great way.
Yeah, been awesome. Yeah. And we thinking,
Cool. My goal is to draw attention to the work that you're doing and to our kids. So the more we can do that, and the more, I feel like the whole community lifted up.
I've never been around anybody like it in any of my programs, so I really appreciate it. And
we appreciate you guys.
Keep uplifting.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, son.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Okay.